Lightning McQueen is coming to the Magic Kingdom, but he is leaving Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. It is not ka-ching ka-chow any longer next to the Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Evicted, sent on his way, the villains are coming and they will have their day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, dive into the theme parks, and help you have a darn good time on your vacation. The pixie dusters, the cupcakers who only say positive things, listen not to them, for they will have you out there sweating and spending more money than you ever should. Of course, Ron E. Bradley from Follow the Bradley's Fun is not one of those cupcakers. He is a truth teller, helping you find all of the value you possibly can for your hard-earned dollars when you are in Orlando or any of those sunny vacation locations. Ron, welcome back to the channel, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today, Pro. I appreciate it.
Well, very happy to have you, Ron. Before we dive into the news, I just want to set the table for why this is happening. Ron, Hollywood Studios is a very small park with a very large parking lot. Makes no sense until you know the history of it. We can't dive into that right now. Folks, as we get ready to explain, though, click the like button. But Ron, it's a very small park. It looks crowded even when it's not crowded because there's nothing to do and because the walkways are small. It was not originally designed for what it is, and they have never gone back and truly fixed it to make it be the theme park, the all-day theme park that it needs to be. So, Ron, they're going to add something they believe will draw in, well, maybe not more crowds, but give people something to do. Could you talk to us and walk us through what is it like right now these days at Hollywood Studios? Like, what is the experience in 2024?
Well, I have to be honest, it is my least favorite park at the moment because, gosh, I was looking at a video not too long ago with my wife because she was trying to remember this certain attraction. She's like, "Where is that? Where is it?" And it was the backlot tour where they had Catastrophe Canyon, and the truck would explode and it would come down, and a waterfall would come down, and you'd be on the tram and it would come over, and it was an amazing attraction, and it was a unique and different backlot tour experience from others, and it was great. And they got rid of it to put in Galaxy's Edge, but Galaxy's Edge is not particularly that busy. I have, as many times as I have been this year, the park is generally, it's kind of weird. It's not particularly busy on the Galaxy's Edge side. Toy Story Land's always busy because Slinky Dog has that long wait for the kids. They love that ride. They love that land. My son loves Toy Story Land. Then you go to the more classic side of the park, down Hollywood Boulevard towards the Tower of Terror, the Hollywood Hotel. That is the park that stays a little bit busier. The park isn't busy when the wait for Tower of Terror shows dropping below 45 minutes for that wait. So it's 45 minutes. That's actually about a 25 to 30 minute wait because the wait times are always posted longer. And then Rock and Roller Coaster was down for such a long time this year that when they brought that back up, of course, that got busy again. Other than that, it is exactly what you said. It looks like a crowded park until if you go back to what used to be called the Animation Courtyard that has this beautiful sconce over it. Looks like it's something to see back there. And then you enter through that, and you've got Star Wars Launch Bay that was supposed to go away in 2019 when Galaxy's Edge opened. Here it is 5 years later, and Launch Bay is still there taking up space. You got the kids thing, and you got the closed down for 5 years Little Mermaid show. And it's such a convoluted park right now. There's no real theme. There's no cohesiveness. It just doesn't make any sense. And to be honest, I've never even been to the Lightning McQueen show. I've seen it. I've been to where it is. I've never walked into it because it doesn't seem that interesting to me.
It's made for little kids, so it's not a shock to me that you would not have interest. I will say that Hollywood Studios is what apparently they plan to do to California Adventure. It's just IP vomit everywhere. It's in contention with Epcot now for being the worst park at Disney World. And Epcot was great before they did the horrible things they did to it. Hollywood Studios now, it's just a mess, as you said. Animation Courtyard, you're exactly right. It looks like an urban area in 2020. If you get my drift, I mean, there should be there should be plywood up in the windows, blocking you away from some of these buildings that are unused.
There kind of is in that Hollywood shop that's there that's closed down. They've got the windows blacked out. I mean,
I had forgot about that. Yep. And behind Muppets, so anyway, it's a strange park. They need stuff to do because they're packing it full of people and there's nothing for them to do once they're in the park. So the solution has been they're going to reopen The Little Mermaid. They're going to jettison Smuggler's Run and turn that into The Mandalorian, which that's expensive. So that tells you that they knew they had to make a switch because now you're going to be helping Mando and Grogu instead of doing what you were doing before, the little video game. It's not very good. And now they're getting rid of Lightning McQueen. Now, here's why I think they're in a bit of a rush, Ron. They didn't announce this at D23, and I think they would have been very happy to have announced it at D23. But I think that the pencil pushers have realized that the quality of the park and the guest experience numbers have to be going down dramatically. Let's read the article, and then we'll weigh in on this one. WDWMagic.com has it. New Disney villains show to replace Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy at Hollywood Studios in 2025. Disney's Hollywood Studios is set to introduce a new live entertainment experience centered around Disney villains in the summer of 2025 at Walt Disney World. The new show will take place at the Sunset Showcase located on Sunset Boulevard and will feature dozens of iconic Disney villains. According to Disney Live Entertainment, the production will be staged in the setting of the Magic Mirror's mysterious realm. I'm sure they were hoping that Snow White would be successful for this. It's not going to be. And the Magic Mirror in this case looks more like something you saw in Shrek. Strange. A reflective environment designed to bring guests closer to some of Disney's most notorious villains. Characters such as Cruella de Vil, Captain Hook, and Maleficent are confirmed to make appearances as they break through the glass to take the stage in live production numbers. So that means expensive. Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy is scheduled to close on October 7th, 2024, making way for the preparation and construction needed for the upcoming villains-themed production. Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy only opened in 2019, so it's only been going for 5 years. You take out the pandemic, they had 4 years of using this thing. Now, of course, this was always intended to be a flex space, but then it turned into Lightning McQueen's and stayed that way for a while. Ron, I've had people ask me, is this happening because they're going to move the Lightning McQueen animatronic to the new Cars destruction of Tom Sawyer and Rivers of America? And I don't think that's true. That has not been said to me. And I've had the opposite told to me. That's rumor and speculation at this point. We're trying to get it confirmed, but I don't think they're moving this. That's not why this is happening. And I don't think that pulling the villains into this area has anything to do with the villains' land that's allegedly coming to Magic Kingdom down the road. Ron, this feels to me like this was in space. As you said, you never visited. It was a space for kids. It's a pre-K show. And they simply can't do that at Hollywood Studios anymore. They've got to have stuff that can pull in big crowds. And maybe they're deciding that these villains, this live action performance, which, by the way, will cost big money because anytime you have multiple live performers, you're paying. Apparently, they think they've got to have more capacity now. And if this was something they had planned for a while, I just don't know why they would not have announced it at D23. Your thoughts on all of this, please, Ron.
Well, first of all, this space it was utilized better and a lot more during Star Wars weekends. That's actually where they used to put the Darth Mall. That's what they called it, the Darth Mall, during Star Wars weekends. And you go back there and you shop, and I'm telling you, there had to be 10 times more people going back there to the Darth Mall and shopping than they ever came to the Lightning McQueen show. I'm curious though, if this is going to be a live action on stage villains show, does that mean that all of the people at the C-suite will be performing daily?
Ron.
I had to. But no,
Bob Iger included in Villains Land? We don't know. Well, in Bob Iger's world, Ron, I'll guarantee you Chapek is a Disney villain now.
Well, hey, put him on stage too to bring him back, right? Anyway, they, I like the idea of there being a villain show. It makes sense. It's going to be weird though. Because
I think we're on the same page. The location's weird, Ron.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's going to bottleneck. That location is a very strange location for where they're putting a villain show, because if it's popular, it's going to be really weird with the line for Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster,
because it dead ends.
It's super popular. There's a dead end. There's a wall right there. You got to go past the wall to get into that area. So if it's a popular thing, they're going to have to do something to make a queue that works. Probably put up whatever those things are called. I forgot. Stanchions, something because I can see a villain's show actually doing well and being certainly more popular than the Slight and McQueen Racing Academy thing. I believe that animatronic was there prior to the show. We used to go visit when this is before Galaxy's Edge, and you could go down New York and San Francisco Street, and at the end of it, that's where the meet and greet for Lightning McQueen was. So they had, and I think they had Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater right there, and they were both in. It was like a meet and greet of sort of an animatronic thing. Obviously, they're not that animated. They're cars in place with eyeballs that blink. But
let me show you this, Ron. You made a great point. I had not thought of this, but as you were talking, the light bulbs went off. When you're talking about the weird location of it, I want to show everybody this. Okay, so the trip down the Sunset Strip to get down here to Tower of Terror. That's your focal point. That's where you go. You can also go back here to Fantasmic later in the day, in the evening, and there's plenty of pedestrian space to handle the lines that will form for that. But Rock and Roller Coaster is off here to the side, and then added as sort of an addendum, because once upon a time this was cast parking next to Rock and Roller Coaster, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, which is going to be the new villains area. Okay, fair enough. Now, the interesting thing about this is, as you said, it is the dead end of all dead ends, because you are literally on the backside of an E-attraction queue. And so that's where you are. And so it's a huge bottleneck problem. Ron, if they're going to actually put some effort into this, and there's no way they're going to do it, but if they wanted to reroute and send traffic over to the side of all the electrical stuff and send a new pedestrian pathway to connect over here with Fantasmic, that would indicate to me that they're actually going to have this be a big deal. I don't suspect that's going to happen at all. That would be a huge amount of money to spend. It would take a lot of time. I suspect that this is going to be sort of a D ticket. Well, no, not even that. Maybe a very low tier kind of attraction. I just don't sense this is going to be much of an effort put into this. I think this is just, hey, we got to get capacity, and we got to get capacity now. We've already got the costumes. Get the performers. Throw something together. Make it fast. What do you think?
I think it's going to be on par with the Playhouse. Playhouse Disney that is currently in Animation Courtyard, where you take some kids over there, they get 20, 30, 40 kids a show, and they can dance in the aisles with them. I think it'll be that level of a show, that's not a huge production value show. It's not going to have a high level of production value. It's going to have some they're probably going to be relying on the performance of the actors, entertainers, performers that are in the show to bring this to life, and then have a lot of lighting and not a lot of set pieces. Maybe one for the magic mirror, and then it's going to be all screens, because that's what they do now. They screens are cheap, and that's how you put a cheap show together, is put some screens in the back, a little bit of lighting, hopefully rely on some fantastic performances from some great actors that you're going to underpay, and then you roll with it.
Ron, can I give you a worst case scenario?
Sure.
And I don't think this is going to be the case, and I'm hopeful. And this is, by the way, doing what we've said they need to do at Hollywood Studios. They need capacity. Now, worst case scenario, though, let's hope this is not the case. What if they're getting rid of MuppetVision, and they know it's going to be closing, and this is their answer to replacing a sit-down show with a sit-down show that will appeal to audiences? I really hope that's not why they're doing this. Let's hope it's not. But worst case scenario, that's it. Ron, I'll give you a final word on all of this, and tell the folks out there where they can find you as well.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that, because last time I went into MuppetVision wasn't that long ago, and although the park was pretty empty, MuppetVision was packed. I was kind of surprised, actually. Maybe people were already thinking, oh, is this maybe going to go away? But it was packed, and it's such a fun show. Honestly, it's so with no
cheap 3D tricks.
Yeah, no cheap 3D. That's whoa. It's such a funny show. It's like when you don't think about it for a while, you forget actually how good of a show it is, and then you go back and you're like, wow, this really is good. And here's the wonderful thing: it holds up after all these years. It actually really does hold up, and it brings you back to that love that you had as a kid for Jim Henson, but also allows you to pass it on to the next generation. So I think it's very, very cool. Dear God, I hope they don't aren't replacing that
Please
with
no.
this.
Yes, please
not in this awful location. I don't know. How am I supposed to read the minds of the people in the C-suite these days? It's so their choices are weird. It's just weird. And then they open up new attractions, new lighting, new water features, and none of it works for very long. So I just hope that when they get the show up and running, that doesn't have blackouts every single day, that they can't actually do it.
True that. All right, folks, we've come to the end. Ron, tell the folks out there where they can find you on this great, big, beautiful web.
Sure. Follow the Bradley's Fun YouTube channel. We do a show, The Daily Dish, every morning where I talk about all things parks and my own experience as a former
Wait a minute.
cast
I thought that was
member.
a culinary show. You confused me. How dare you, sir? I thought it was just about deep dish pizzas. Now
it's not that kind of a dish. It's dish, the verb. We're gonna dish about stuff.
Next, you'll tell me it has nothing to do with satellite television. Darn it.
No. But yeah, 9:30 every morning. We actually stream into Culture, and Culture often streams right into the WDW Pro show. So that works out very well. Yesterday it was all the way into T3PO and all those lives, sometimes Mr. H and all that other stuff. It's just like a way to start your day in the right place and have it flow right through.
That's right, folks.
And then of course, we also do family vlogs, and I do funny shorts and voices and all that kind of stuff. You're probably a lot better at the voices than I am, though. So, but yeah,
what's a voice you do, Ron? What do you got? What's in the repertoire?
Hey, this is Kermit the Frog reporting live from Baby Yoda's lair.
You're hired. You're better than Vogel. All right, folks. We hope you'll hire us. The way you do so is by clicking the like button, share, subscribe. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And if you'd like more cheap 3D tricks on this channel, just let us know down in the comments. Some of you out there, the very few who have a 3D TV when Ron did what he did with his hand, you said, finally, we've waited years for Pro to have somebody do something with this 3D we've got. Well, you're welcome. Folks, you're also welcome to join us on the Beetlejuice review live tonight at 10 p.m. As soon as we get out of the theater, Michelle from Force of Light will be joining us, as well as Nolan Thunder and others, perhaps even the one and only Jonas J. Campbell. Will Wilton appear? I do not know. We'll let you know if the juice is loose. Folks, until the next time we see you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to Phils and Zoes with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things. Hold up. TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's a team that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Force of Light. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny, and someone called CMS. Fat Steven makes a bunch of all the graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? Fat Sky is a guy, and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news. That should be fun. With accurate info that's not been spun, you can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.
Yeah, Wilton. That was actually pretty good, or white. But I think you might have forgotten Vash.
Well, he lost all his friends. But it was implied.